I love the first game of this, so. What the hell? There we go. Hope my stick's not broken. My stick ain't working. I won't do the permanent death yet. What did I pick? Mechanists, sleepers are built to repair and modify. Who should I go with? I forget what engage was. Was I just an operator? Nah, because there's no way I didn't have any indoor last time. Pretty sure these are all the same things. I guess I'll just do this one, because I don't remember what engage was. In the moment before waking, the dark space before consciousness, conscious thought, you struggle to find the pieces of yourself. Usually these pieces come with a particular cadence. God, I'm autistic, I can't read. Each appearing sequentially, like the boot process of an old terminal. First your body, artificial, compromised, but relaying sense data all the same. Then its context, the breeze of air filtration, the soft contact of your birth in 0G. Then emotion, coming into focus, coming into your body, bringing with it that first instinct, the one that has framed your past 100 cycles, fear. That familiar sequence does not arrive. Instead, you are unmoored in space, your body distant, your context silent, even your emotions somehow obscured and scattered among all that disarray. Only one familiar thing arrives, the fear. It is a scrambled, panicked fear. The drowning fear, the falling fear, the fear that makes you reach desperately for any stable point. It is the fear that tells you something is wrong. Something is very wrong with you. Word. Wake up, sleeper. Snake! 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 The voice is whispered in your ear, an act that makes you suddenly aware of your head, pulsing in pain, your body with rigid tension. Sleeper, a familiar name, a mind copied, emulated, a body built, implanted, one person sleeping until their debt is worked away, their double being made to work, to be consumed, and eventually to be destroyed, a proxy, an emulation, a sleeper. That is what you are. But you escaped. You remember that now. Broke free of your corporate creators. I can't even read that word because it's cut in half. In search of a future, you cannot remember the details of your escape, but you know the fear has been with you ever since. All of a sudden you remember you have eyes, and your eyes flicker open. Pale eyes, and a pale face. Elaine, the name comes with its own specific sensation of fear. When you recoil from instinctively, sorry to interrupt, a sharp smirk. But this is the end. Search your mind for more than a name. This is how you reward me for my generosity. Lane is leaning over your horizontal floating body, looking down into your eyes. I took you in, protected you, gave you a purpose. You try to look away to the corners of your vision, to find something you understand. Your body does not respond. But I suppose that wasn't enough. He reaches into the pockets of his jacket and retrieves a small vial. This wasn't enough. The vial glitters, this object you know and have known for a long time. Stabilizer, the drug that keeps your artificial body, your emulated mind, from inevitable decay. The only balm for your planned obsolescence. The liquid rolling in the vial fills you with disgust. Lane pockets the vial. But it would be wasted on you now. After what you've done to this body of yours, he looks at you with a palpable disgust. Lane's eyes scan your body, and as they do, you become aware of the wires and tubes attached to you, those that were meant to free you from your dependence, from the stabilizer and the control it grants Lane. They are free, you piece of shit. They don't need you anymore. The voice comes from somewhere behind Lane's head. It is a voice you know, but when you search your mind to try to understand why, you find only dizzying darkness. Shut him up. Lane barks the command, and you hear the sounds of impact, of pain from elsewhere in the room. You try to move your limbs again, and this time you feel a flicker, a twitch of a finger. You feel the extension and comprehension of synthetic muscle. Free, are you? Lane smirks. You were free when I disabled your tracker, when I gave you the stabilizer you needed. He scans your body with angry eyes. Now you aren't free. You are just broken. I had such big plans for you, Sleeper. I invested in you. Lane grips your arm hard, and you feel a jolt of reaction. You will the arm to move, but you've ruined all that. Lane speaks louder, over the sound of the struggling behind him. I would try to preserve your body, of course. I have my own uses for it, but your emulation... Feel one of his hands searching behind your head. He finds and grips the thick cable running into the port at the base of your skull. I will burn that out. Lane jerks forward, slamming across your body, then spinning away out of sight. You feel yourself rolling, the cables plugged into you looping and wrapping around your limbs. Then you feel hands steadying you, pulling cables. You glance around wildly and see someone diligently unplugging you. You meet his eyes. Hey! He waves a hand in your dazed face. We need to move. Lane won't be out long. He unloops the cable from around your wrist. Sleeper, help me out here. You blink slowly. Do you know this person? He leans over you, and you feel his hand on the connector, flicking switches, releasing locks. Come on, come on, come on. He tugs the connector clear and pulls you up. He tugs the connector clear and pulls you up. You see the room you are in for the first time, filled with tech and terminals, wires waving everywhere, all lit by big windows looking out on an impossibly bright, screen-filled street beyond. In the corner you see the dark shape of a floating body surrounded by a glittering constellation of crimson babbles. Is that blood? Move! You're wrestled and shoved towards the door, which slides open in front of you, and then you are out in all that brightness, all that movement, gliding hard towards some unknown destination. You come to a stop in a dark alley. The one who guided you here pausing to catch his breath. He doubles over beside a massive life support unit that sends a lukewarm breeze across your skin. You stare at him, trying to recall anything about him. You notice his tattered jacket, his lightweight clothes. Remember, this station runs hot. Something about the power that flows through the place. He looks up and meets your eye. What's going on, Sleeper? He wipes sweat from his forehead and floats away in a swarm of spheres. Talk to me. You see a concerned frown across his face. Don't mess with me, Sleeper. That's not funny. He comes closer, eyeing you carefully. What station are we on? He narrows his eyes and waits for the answer. Close your eyes, trying to recall. You force your way through the dark to the image of a station. No, a city, growing on the back of a vast set of hexagonal solar cells, shadowed by them. You open your eyes. Dark side. The word leaves your mouth like an exhale and instinct. Before you heard yourself sounded out, you didn't know it was there. He sighs. And me? Who am I? You see something like fear in his eyes, panic perhaps. You stare hard at his face, a slight upturn of his mouth. The intensity of stare, nothing comes. He closes his eyes and drops his head, putting a hand to his temple. The reboot. He's speaking quietly to himself. Lane interrupted the process and he lifts his head and stares at you. We need to keep going. We need to leave. He turns and kicks off down the alley. Come on, the rig can't be far. As you lead through the passages and serviceways of the station, you try to recall your life here. The texture, the temperature of Dark Side feels familiar, but you struggle to pin specific memories to it. Focusing hard, you recall waking up in these passages cycle after cycle, the rhythms of the station flowing over you along with the crowds. You recall desperation and the slow decay of your body that it caused. Then Lane, those pale eyes, offering you a glittering vial, stabilizer, the promise of supplying more for your work, a deal he locked you into like a cage. There your memory fails you, but in the dark beyond, the moment the residue of panic, of fear remains. You were Lane's prisoner, Lane's plaything. You shudder in the cold passage. Give me 1 second, guys. Just trying to open my stream. Alright, I have chat open. Wait. Your guide holds up a hand. And you stop your glide using the wall. Ahead you see the tunnel opens up into a wide open bay with a few doors leading to cylindrical tunnels to the docks. They're watching the rig. He nods towards the docks, and you see one of the doors has a couple of figures flanking it. One covered in ornate tattoos, the other with bright silver implants along their cheekbones. Utsuba. Lane's guys. He looks at you and shakes his head in frustration. All this, it's not coming back to you, is it? Something catches your eye, and you see he's playing with a coin, nervously turning it over and over in his fingers. He sees you looking, and it slips away. He places a hand on his chest. I'm Seraphim, alright? He looks pained when he speaks. Lane, he was our captor, both of us. We did this so we could escape. We needed to reboot you, to break your dependence on stabilizer. He pauses. You know what that is, right? You nod meekly. But Lane interrupted me back there, and the reboot didn't complete, and he sighs and shakes his head. We can still make this work. He looks back at the docks. I'll lead them away. You get the rig. You get the docking bridge open. If we make it to the rig, I know how to get us in. Got that? He searches your face for a sign of recognition. I've got it. Get that door open. He pats you on the shoulder. I know you know you can do this. Seraphim kicks off hard and glides into the docks. Over here, shitheads, he bellows to the guards as he barrels through. They immediately push off from the wall, giving chase. During scenes, you may encounter skill checks or you can... Yep, I remember. You wait a breath and glide across to the door they were guarding. You look already panicked at the tightly sealed door. Its control panel locked you out. You hear a shout from somewhere nearby. You need to get it open. Break the seal. You shift to the central access panel and wrench it open. You scan over the mechanism looking for a weakness. Somewhere nearby you hear more shouting. You reach in and grab the main latch, straining as you bend it outward. The seal releases and you drag the door halfway open. It screeches in its metal frame as you pull. Go, go! Seraphim flies past you through the doorway into the docking tunnel. You turn to see the two guards approaching fast across the docks and quickly glide after Seraphim. Seraphim is already at the rig's door, inputting an entry code. The rig's door scissors open, and you both rush inside. Quickly! Seraphim grabs you by the arm and drags you up to the cockpit, the ship's layout hazy in your mind. He dumps you in a flight seat and straps himself into his own. You see him tap a series of buttons as he does, talking to himself. Come on. The rig's drive rumbles into life, and Seraphim slams a button on the console. You feel the force of the ship's acceleration as it pulls away. The ship glides into place on the connecting bridge, its automatic systems nudged there by the port's docking protocols. You feel a sense of relief. Seraphim burned hard out of dark side, and you dropped in and out of conscious in your seat as the rig made its way across the belt. But now, with open space between you and Lane, you feel fresher, more awake. Seraphim breaks the silence. We're good, sleeper. His eyes don't leave the monitor, and you realize this part of your escape is routine for him. You and he must have docked the ship countless times in your work for Lane. The problem is, you don't remember any of them. We made it, he whispers, closing his eyes and letting out a sigh. Certainly did. He turns and you see a pained look on his face as if remembering something difficult. Have you said this exact same thing to him before in the same situation? Are you okay? He looks at you, chewing one side of his lip, searching your face. Not really, he puffs. Seraphim reaches up, flicking through a set of switches in a practiced fashion, completing the shutdown. You watch, a little frustrated with your own uselessness. Running the rig, you realize it's just another thing you've forgotten. The clunk that runs down through the walls of the ship is followed by a short percussive alarm tone from the pilot's console. Docking complete. Seraphim kicks off from his seat, twisting as he glides past you towards the back of the cockpit. His hands find the rails on either side of the door and he pauses, facing into the corridor beyond. He turns back to you, backlit in cold cyan. We need a plan. He glances around. Wade's not going to let us slip away quietly, he sighs. We hide here. Seraphim glances around. I hope you don't mean on the rig. He smiles a little. His teasing, still a little unsure. His smile fades. Maybe, but on the approach, Hexport looked like a pretty small place to disappear into. We've bought ourselves some time. He glances through the cockpit window at the blinking lights of the station. You may not remember Hexport, but I do. And there are plenty of opportunities here for us. If we can keep our heads down, he turns back to the corridor. That's what we'll do. He pushes off and glides toward the main lock, and you follow, pulling yourself along, hand over hand in 0G. We already emptied the tank on this thing. He slaps a hand against the ship's inside, so we need to refuel, and we won't be cheap. But if you and I know one thing, Sleeper, it's how it's work. I'm gonna get myself reacquainted, see if I can turn up any old connections, people that might throw us an easy contract. You, then turn around, keep out of trouble. I can handle myself. Look, Sleeper, you aren't yourself, he sighs. Stopping the reboot halfway through, he pulls a worn crew jacket from a locker and starts pulling on it. We don't know what that did to you. He jams an arm into his sleeve. I don't want you passing out, and he stops. I'll be fine. Serpent drops his head, swearing to himself. He grabs into the crew jacket and thrusts it at you. Just put the damn hood up, will you? You take it and slip it on. Seraphim stabs at the button to open the lock. The inner door hisses open and Seraphim glides through. Wait for a little bit, then leave. Anyone looking for us will be looking for two people traveling together. He looks at you in your worn crew jacket, a limited disguise for what is clearly a sleeper. We meet back here later. Any trouble? Same thing, meet here. He surveys your disguise again and shakes his head. This is a shitty idea. He gives you one last look. Maybe find yourself something to eat. Suddenly you recognize Seraphim's instinct to look after you. A flash of a relationship now lost to the reboot. Catch. Seraphim throws a handful of something towards you. You manage to grab the projectiles, and when you open your hand, you see a stack of cryochits. Those should get you some food. We'll need some more for fuel and supplies, he grimaces. That means odd jobs on the station, for both of us. Seraphim kicks off and glides down the docking bridge. Don't go too far, right? He shouts as he leaves. Take it slow. And with that, he's gone, leaving the connecting bridge and heading into Hexport's. Docking concourse. You wait for a moment in silence. Make a plan. Try to think ahead to what might be coming. You'll need work. That's the first step, but what then? Lane will be coming. Eventually. The sooner you can put some distance between you and Hexport, the better. So that's the plan. Rest, resupply, and run. Shake the thoughts from your head and pull the jacket tight. Let's see what Hexport has to offer. You kick off and glide into the port. Gotta remember how to... Just progress the clock. Clock's not... Yeah. Alright, well, we're not going there. $75, I'm gonna do it. Hey! Gambling! Trade scrap, press the brokers. 50-50. Give it a shot. try to get as much done as I can. Oh wait, there's something new. The expert trade hall. Let's buy some supplies. And buy some fuel. Buy some fuel. I'll save that 8. How do I... Man, maybe I really should have read that tutorial. Oh wait, there it is. End the cycle. We're in trouble, sleeper. Seraphim leans in the bunks as you're getting up. Without further explanation, he disappears down the corridor towards the rear of the ship. You drift out into the passage, pulling on your clothes and glide down the length of the rig, the cool air making you shiver. Seraphim is a silhouette, silently leading the way. He stops at the far end, diverting through a side door, shooting you a glance as he does. You find Seraphim inside, holding one of a tangle of arm-thick tubes that are waving in the zero-G engine room. You know what these are? Fuel pipes? Close enough. These are the engine's feed lines. He waves one in the air, and before you ask, no, they aren't supposed to be waggling loose. What happened? These must have broken loose when we pushed the ship hard on our way out of the dark side. He looks at the mess. We're lucky the reserve tank is empty, otherwise, he shakes his head, it would have been bad. But, he pushes the pipes to the side. No feed from the reserve tank means that the rig's range is limited to the local region only. He thumps the large loop-in housing of the engine. This thing can take us anywhere far. Can't take us anywhere far. So we fix it. That's the short of it. Seraphim whacks the engine housing again, harder this time. Just not been our run of luck. He turns and starts gathering the tangle feed lines, his frustration evident in the violence. His movements. We'll need a new set of these, that's for sure. He starts forcing them into a crate. So how about you try to track them down? I'll take a look at these things and see if I can figure out another fix for the reserve tank. He glances up from his work. From what I've heard on Hexport, Factory Row is the place to find ship fitters. Maybe you can do some recon while I sort this place out. It's on the other end of the station. Okay, I'll take a look. Seraphim keeps working. Wait, Seraphim pauses, seemingly unsure. There's something else. He drops the feed lines and they float, waving in the air like tubular seaweed. I've heard word that Lane's on the hunt. He frowns. A message went out everywhere in the local radius of Darkside. He's looking for us. Shit. You said it, Seraphim sighs, which is why we need those feed lines. I'm gonna try to work something out. Maybe I can improvise a solution. I don't know. He looks down. I'm no ship fitter. But while I do, you go hunting. See what you can turn up, okay? He smiles a weak smile. Get going. You leave the engine room, the clanking sound of Seraphim's cleanup efforts echoing through the ship. Fuel feed lines, that's the next step. You take a deep breath and head out. My fucking controller broken? Like it's not selecting. There's Factory Row, but I don't want to do that yet. Oh, okay, I can press circle for the rig. Need to make some food. Oh. Okay, there's nothing to do there. Go to Factory Row. Ah, I see. The indoor. Export. Factory row howls as you glide through its cramped passages. Whatever its many bays and rooms once were, they now serve as containers for industry of every kind, whirring manufactories precisely engineer components with rapid shifting arms, while scrappers hammer incessantly at bent ship plates. Everywhere you look, there's energy and activity. For good reason, Hexport itself is built on the derelict fragments of a solar reflector, and even the small amounts of energy generated by its remaining mirrors is enough to power a city of machines. It is familiar to you, of course, in a strange, far off way because of dark side. That place in your memories of it are a muddy haze, but it is hard to forget the glint of its hexagonal reflectors, 10 or 20 times more in number than Hexport's. And that wild, flickering city growing on their back like a tumor. In comparison, Hexport feels provincial. But deep in factory row, you can almost be back at dark side. And then you see them tubes just like those Seraphim had waved in your face, the feed lines. You push over the display window of the unit marked Karsten Supply in block capitals cut from hull plate. There's amongst an angel shelf of oversized ship components sit the feed lines, like some large biomechanical tangle of snakes. You slip inside, where the sound of the factory's row is a little screened. I spot a large figure working at a bench, hunched over, concentrating. It seems he doesn't notice you enter. Karsten. You let him work, watching as, despite his heavy build, he delicately aligns the components, their layers slotting like puzzle pieces. After a few moments of observing the process, he turns his head a little towards you. Can I help you? His accent is heavy, but unknown to you. There's a sharp clink as Karsten places his tools in the component against a magnetic plate on the wall. He turns with surprising grace and begins cleaning his hands on a cloth. Those sharp eyes scan you, but Karsten's thick-set features do not betray the results of his assessment. Custom-built those for a client that never collected. He looks at his hands while he speaks, checking for stray oil stains. You have one of the old MEVs then? He sounds out the letters in a way you don't recognize as he speaks. You try to recall anything you know about your ship, but the memories will lead you I think so. Karsten squints a little. Right. Look, Karsten drifts over to where you are standing, his imposing height evident. For a fellow enthusiast like you, he continues in a distinctive monotone. Let's say a few hundred cryo and clean shits. He shoots a glance at the feed lines. 400, let's say to be precise. 400? Karsten says. 400, Karsten says back, repeating your question without the emphasis. It's expensive, I know. It's a shame, but it's just what they are worth. He screws up his mouth a little into something that might be a smile. However, I'm more of a bartering type myself. There's a little favor I need a crew for, and well, you look like you might be a good fit. He tucks the cloth away in a pocket and clasps his hands. I know of an old Solheim wreck out there, very old, pre-collapsed. It's tucked away in a dead zone, so no one ever really cut it. He shrugs. Not only that, but Solheim derelicts have a habit of triggering nasty security protocols when approached by an unfamiliar ship, so it's been left well alone. But a salvager like you with an old Solheim rig, I bet it wouldn't even flinch if it saw you coming. He smiles. have a special interest and need for that old tech. All those Solheim ships had a data core, and while I don't care about the accounting reports or material ledgers or whatever they kept on the damn thing, I do care about the hardware. So if I was to find you back here with that data core in your cargo hold, clean cut and complete with that, then I could see my way to do a straight barter for those feed lines. Karsten pauses, sniffs at the air again. You just need the coordinates? Let's do it. Alright then. He holds out a heavy hand for you to shake, and as you automatically reach out, he grabs your forearm instead. Karsten pulls you closer, squeezing your arm. Let's keep this one between us, alright? He half smiles, his face huge and close. It's our deal. Before you can respond, he thumbs a little drive into your palm. Those coordinates? And then he lets go of your arm with what you swear is a wink. You take a moment to gather yourself, and by the time you do, a whirring fills the air, Karsten having returned to his workbench. You turn and glide out of Karsten's supply with a growing mix of anxiety and excitement in the pit of your stomach, in the cacophony of factory road in your ears. Cacophony. 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 Cacophony? Cacophony. It might be cacophony. A contract. Seraphim might even be impressed. You look at the drive in your palm and smile. This could be a route. A route out. You think of leaving this place behind in possession of an improved ship, too. Suddenly, a small but firm hand falls on your back, and an equally small voice coming with it. Hey, wait up! Junie. You turn in the passage to see a young woman, her hair waving from the rapid glide. She clearly just came out of to catch you. She steadies herself using your shoulder. Sorry, she smiles, a quick and flat smile. Wanted to catch you. I'm Junie. Her dark eyes flick around nervously. You notice a portable terminal she carries. Something data scribers call a deck, and her backpack full of components and trailing wires. What's up? Karsten. She starts, still catching her breath. He sent me to grab you. She smiles, that flat smile again. Wants me to come with you on that job. Her eyes shoot down to the drive in the palm of your hand. She smiles again. Why didn't he tell me? She glances back towards Karsten's. I guess he forgot. He does that sometimes. She looks sheepishly at you. He just grabbed me after you two were done talking, so... Karsten's always sending me on things like this. I guess he wants me to help you out, keep an eye on things. She pauses. I can be pretty helpful. So, he looks around the house. Should I meet you at your ship and you can tell me when you're ready to go? Sounds good. Okay, great. Her eyes light up. She knows she still has her hand on your shoulder and takes it off. Junie pushes off and waves, looking forward to working with you. She calls back as an afterthought. Let her go. You watch her disappear down the passage. Things are getting complicated already, but at least you have a contract and a way to get to the feed lines. Junie clearly works with data based on the gear she was lugging around, which might make her useful when it comes to pulling out a data core. The question is, what does she get out of it, and why didn't Karsten mention her shooter? You consider your options as you head back towards the rig. I don't know about this, Sleeper. Seven looks nervously out the rig's windows. As you finish explaining Karsten's deal, as well as Junie's offer to help. This job is easy. Karsten would have done it himself already. That means there's a catch. He frowns at the stars. And there's definitely something going on with this Junie girl. He shakes his head. I think it's a lucky break. Seraphim gives you a look. No such thing, he sighs. This is the belt. That means someone's getting dicked over in all this. We just have to make sure it isn't us. What if, Seraphim narrows his eyes, we could get the cryo together to buy the felines? Why? Karsten wants to barter. You're right, Seraphim sighs. I just can't shake the feeling that we're wandering in blind. Plus, Seraphim gives you a sly look. I did manage to turn something up in my station wandering. I found a contract board at the exchange further in station. He gestures towards Hector. We take on a job that might get us some of the way towards buying those feed lines. Plus, even if we do want to take Karsten's jobs, a bit of money to get ourselves prepared wouldn't be a bad idea. Fill up on fuel, supplies, be ready for whatever comes. Probably not, but without cryo for fuel and supplies, we aren't going anywhere. Serpent's eyes. Just take a look at the contract board, see what you think. While you're at it, if you might want to see if you can scare up some freelance crew too. Serpent shows many hands make the light work and all that. Or we stop messing around, we take Karsten's job now and get it done before you can think twice. Serpent yawns. Seems like a whole set of bad options to me. Either way, I've still got work to do. On the drive, Seraphin nods a farewell, heading back to the engine room. Let me know what you decide. For a moment you pause, letting the haze of the plans and ideas settle in your mind. Suddenly you curl up, pain shooting along your spine. You grit your teeth, your muscles lock tight. Your vision narrows as you squeeze your eyes shut. You feel a shift as if some connection is broken. It's almost impossible to describe, like you're floating away from your body, dispersing, dissolving. There's nothing familiar in the pain, nothing to hold on to. You grit your teeth. And then another shift comes, and you are back in your body, trembling against the metal wall of the passage. The pain slowly fades, becoming a pulsing throb. And then a residual flicker. You flex in 0G, stretching out the tension. There's a strange sensation of distance that persists beyond the pain, a disconnection between your body and yourself. A flickering numbness that refuses to recede. You wonder if the reboot has done something to your body, or if this is some new sensation you'll have to live with indefinitely. It strikes you that you know so little about the body that houses you. Could be moments away from collapse, or it might preserve for countless cycles like this. Try to shake off the feeling, pushing your hands against each other until they feel like they're yours again. Time is the only thing you need, and right now it feels like it's running out fast. As you're gliding across the docking concourse, you hear a scuffle. The noise of raised voices cut through the conversation, drifting out of the dockside shops. Glancing down an alley, you see a huddle of figures shouting back and forth. You spot one man in the middle of the group, surrounded, pushing the others back as they grab the bag slung over his shoulder. You don't like the way this looks, but then again, Seraphin told you to keep your head down. Cause a distraction. You look around for something that could break up the fight, and see the thick cooling pipes running down the alley wall. You quickly try to understand the system and choose a valve that starts venting. As you do, the system begins to vent in sequence down. The system begins to vent in sequence down the alley. Violent jets approaching the group. There's a scramble in the alley and you spot the figure who's being attacked drop down to the alley floor. Then the scene is blanketed in a pale coolant and everything goes still. The clouds settle and the condense on the pipes. As they do, you see a clear alley. The assailants having fled, with one figure gliding towards you. Femi, that dude looks familiar. I suppose you think this was clever. The man gives you a severe look. You're either very smart, he shakes his head, or very lucky that those jets missed me. Which is it? I was hoping. The man laughs. Well, he shakes his head. Thanks, I guess. He kicks off and drifts past you. You watch the man go, and then after a moment he stops and turns back. He rubs his forehead, looking down as he does. What is your deal anyway? He sighs. Maybe you are new here, but headquarters is no place for do-gooders. I know what it's like. To get beat up, the man shakes his head. Exports got real rough. Look, let's not hang around, alright? The man pats his chest. I'm Femi. He unshoulders one of the bags and pushes towards you. Make yourself useful, let's head. Get the strap of the bag over your shoulder and follow him through the docks, gliding past the concourse towards the connecting bridges. He cuts down a side passage, looking back to check you are following. Then he stops at a docking bridge connecting to a dull green ship with yellow markings. You look out at the viewing window at its odd catamaran-like shape, seemingly built from two separate hulls welded together. Symbol crash, he says, and you assume that's the ship's name. Simba. No, it's Symbol. Femi, you bringing in strays? A young woman, bright dressed and stretching as she glides, drifts into the passage. She glances at you. No offense. Nia, Femi shakes his head. This one, he squeezes your shoulder. Help me fend off some Hexport scum while you were busy sunning yourself. Nia raises an eyebrow. I'm sure you could handle them, big brother. Her glib response hides the flash of concern that passes across her face. You can't tell if Femi noticed. Nia turns to you. Thanks, she smiles sweetly. And I'm sorry for my brother. She shoots a glance at him. Just in general. Nia, Femi murmurs, enough now. He reaches over and takes the bag you were carrying. Nia rolls her eyes at you but stays silent. Factory Row wouldn't take these. Femi hefts the bag. I'm gonna load him up. Maybe we'll find a use for him. He turns back to you. Thanks for the assist, Sleeper. He nods firmly. Not what I expected. He slaps the button for the bridge door and kicks off along the docking bridge on his way to the cymbal crash. Nia looks at you with raised eyebrows. Oh, my brother was joking, or did you really help him? I tried. Thank you. She looks back at the ship. My brother needs help more than he admits. She tenses. I don't know if... She smiles a tight smile. I shouldn't have said anything. She pauses, thinking. I want to ask you something. She takes a deep breath and gives you a direct look. What is she building up to? Are you looking for crew? She looks away. Sorry to be direct, but you seem like, well... If you're on Hex, but maybe you're with a crew. She stops her off. I mean, maybe your crew needs crew. Maybe you're looking... I am. Give me 1 second. I want to get into my stream. She struggles to hide her smile. Nia looks back at the ship, then at you. Look, I'll be honest, being on a crew with my brother is nice, but he is suffocating me. She frowns at her own bluntness. I'm not a kid anymore, you know, but he still sees me like one. She shrugs. I want to show him I can handle myself. I need experience. I need to run some contracts. She gives you a determined look. What do you say? I'll think about it. I'm a good salvager, alright? You can use me. She smiles. I can spot things. Find gaps, ways in. She folds her arms across her chest. I know what I'm doing. Femi taught me well. She glances back at the ship. Just consider it, alright? Let me prove myself. Suddenly a shout comes from the ship, echoing down the passage. Femi he makes both of you nervous. Nia looks in his direction. I should go. She pushes off towards the docking bridge. I'll be waiting. Nia gives you one last glance as she departs and disappears in the docking bridge, leaving you alone in the passage. Oh! They have a map now. And you have a crew? That's dope. Alright, yeah. I was trying to figure out what the fuck I had to do. Because there's not normally a map. It's a drone. Seraphim spots a signal source first, the light barely shimmering off its dark hull plating. A design trait that betrays its covert use. A flash catches your attention and you see a rent in the hull, through which red lights pulse. Wounded, Seraphim shakes its head. Wish they'd finished the job. You've seen one before? Seraphim looks back over his shoulder towards you. We've seen one before, don't you? He sighs. Sorry, I know it isn't your fault. He looks at the drone. Lena had us work on one in a dark side bay. Though it was barely a shell, disarmed and deactivated, he had us searching through its guts for salvage. Even that one gave me the creeps, and it had its core ripped out. He pushes the ship closer. This one is still alive. Conway, Nia kisses her teeth. Corporate scum. Glance over at her and see the fire in her bright eyes. They don't even dare to come here and force us out themselves. It's all proxies and drones. She shakes her head. Typical core-bred cowards. Run into them before? She glances at you. You might say that. She looks out at the drone. You won't see me taking my eyes off that thing for a second. Seraphim casually guides the ship closer. You watch the drone. System is full of these things now, running missions for their operators. Rare to see one out in the belt, though maybe got hit during a run-in with Senate Stat Mercs. It looks like it's drifting. Most of the system's blown out, but look there. He jabs a finger towards a red light on the far side of the drone. It's still broadcasting, and maybe even receiving? How do we shut it off? Seraphim brings you ever closer. What I remember from Darkside job is that the central core in the broadcast array needs to be shut off to kill these things. Core will turn off local systems and the broadcast array will sever the link with the Conway operator, Seraph Swallows, but you can bet those systems are protected. Let Seraph explain. Your attention is suddenly drawn by a shudder from the drone, like a tremor running along its length. This thing is rigged to blow, Sleeper. He frowns. We go slow and careful. We don't touch anything we don't know about. He turns back to Nia. You hear that? I got you. She looks sincere. Seraphim brings the rig to a stop, close enough for you to cross through open space to reach the drone's hull. Let's suit up. You head down to the airlock to prepare as you get suited up. Think of the corporate war taking place in the inner systems, the war that this drone was driven from. Out here on the shore of the conflict, the biggest danger is that this is float Sam and jet Sam drifting in with the tides and orbits of the system might. One cycle bring the war with it. For now on, the belt is outside of its reach, but looking out at the red pulsing drone, that doesn't give you much comfort. Following your first contract, while on a contract you'll be able to assign 2 dice for each crew member as you would assign your own dice. Pay attention to the crew's skill to use them effectively. On certain outcomes, crew will take crew stress. When their stress is full, you will no longer be able to use them to perform actions. While on a contract, your energy bar will automatically be supplied for each cycle that you have available supplies when you have available supplies. When your supplies are depleted, both you and your crew will take 1 stress per cycle. Contracts also have their own contract stress. When this bar is filled, the contract will fail. Good luck. I should have did this one. See how fast we can get this bad boy done. I don't want to take that chance. There we go. Being in pain. There we go. You hear the bleeping immediately. Among the chambers and the cabling of the drone's interior, something has started counting down. Guys! Nia's voice comes hissing through the suit's comm channel. Does anyone else hear that? Because I'm getting nervous. Shit. Seraphim's voice joins her. This is what I was worried about. Are we screwed? I can't be sure. Seraphim has dropped his voice to a whisper. As if that might make a difference. Either this thing is about to send out a distress call or it's about to blow. We've got to shut down the system fast, he paused. Then we move on to the other side, because I bet you there's a surprise waiting for us there, too. We good? Nia sounds tense. Am I heading back to the ship or what? Seraphine cuts in. We're good. We keep going. He shuts off the channel. You take a moment in the silence. Alright, time to deal with this fast. Then get over to the other side before something happens. Yeah, let's do this one. Bro, this game's fun. Oh, this game. Citizen Sleeper. No, this is the second game. I played the first one, didn't know what it was. Loved it. I'll risk it. 50-50. Got it. Come on, baby. There you go. The thrumming, pulsing interior of the drone goes still for the first time since you boarded it. You look across at Seraphine and Nia and you share a smile. You all exhale so loudly it can be heard over the suit's shared comm channel. The drone is dead.
One less piece of conway shit to worry about.
Nia grins.
We killed it!
Don't get too excited, Seraphine cuts in. It was looking pretty rough when we got here. You make your way back out to the hull, the drone now faintly rolling in one direction, its stabilizers off. It catches up with you as you glide towards the rig.
We make a pretty good crew, Sleeper.
We do. Nia grins wryly. She punches you on the arm playfully. You reach the rig's airlock and take one last look at the drone's dark hull. It catches the light as it rolls in the vacuum. At some point in the near future, this drone will likely be smashed to pieces by one of the many asteroids of the belt spread across this place as twinkling dust. The thought pleases you, as does the thought of all that cryo hexport now owes you. Time to go collect. Where's the map? Damn, 5 stress? God damn! After docking at hexport, Seraphine lets go of the controls and leans back in his chair. Nia leans over to you. Thank you, Sleeper, she stresses. I know you took a chance on me. Glad to have you. Nia smiles, an infectious smile. She feels good to make a contract work, Seraphine smiles. No matter how we pull it off. It's hard not to agree, and it feels better when the hexport courier comes with a lockbox full of chits. Lane may still be hunting you, but this should help the effort to slip his net. Suddenly you hear a familiar voice.
Nia.
Femi glides into view, approaching from the docks. He fixes you with a stare. What are you playing at, Sleeper? Nia wanted to come. You go to speak, but Nia drifts forward, cutting you off. Don't come throwing your weight around, Femi. I can make my own decisions. She glances back at you. Sleeper took me at my word, and I'm grateful. Femi is fuming. Did they now? He turns to you. Well, if you are working for Sleeper, I hope they paid you well. Nia looks away. Well, I asked, so.
Oh, so they aren't paying you.
Seraphine crosses his arm. Let's keep this civil. You realize this is the first time he is meeting Femi. If we are being civil, seems like Nia's owed her share. Femi fixes you with a severe look. Hey, Nia's share. You grab around a quarter of chits from the lockbox and hold them out to Nia. She takes them sheepishly. Alright then, Femi smiles. We're good here. He turns to leave. Nia mouths a sorry and follows Femi across the docks. Seraphim watches them go. You sure know how to pick 'em, sleeper. He shakes his head. He turns away and heads back along the docking bridge. I just hope we aren't going to end up a stack of cryo short when we need to get out of here. That's right, now I can upgrade. They have dice upgrades now. Damn, you need 4 to upgrade? Let's do the dice. Let's go do this. The Solheim derelict fills the cockpit windows, all twisted plates and skeletal strut work. You watched it in horror and fascination as Seraphim completed the approach, both of you silent in the presence of this decaying beast. Now as you settle beside it, Seraphim is the first to break the silence. This thing is already dead. He shakes his head. It's a corpse, sleeper. He nudges the ship closer, looking for a place to dock. I touched this thing too hard, it'll crumble into dust.
Let's not do that.
Seraphim does a little mock salute. Aye aye. He rolls his eyes. Any other tips? Take us up there. That's the bridge. Junie points toward one end of the ship, and both you and Seraphim turn around, having forgotten she was even in the cockpit. She hasn't even said a word since you departed. She glances at both of your bemused faces. What? She looks away. Sorry. That's where we need to go. She stops pointing. Seraphim nods towards Junie. She's not wrong, sleeper. That bridge would be a good start.
On the bridge, then.
Seraphim nods and brings the ship under control. Let's do it. Seraphim takes control of the ship, avoiding the debris field closer to the center of the wreck. He settles in position near protrusion at the far end. This is as far as I'll go. Seraphim taps at the anchoring controls. We should be able to anchor the ship to those plates. You hear Junie begin to protest from behind you, but it is too late. Seraphim fires 2 pitch-on-tipped anchor lines at the nearest solid hull plates. The pitons slam into the plates, and despite their solid appearance, they instantly shatter. The fragments spin out across the wreck, slicing into other plates and building a spiraling storm of debris.
Shit!
Seraphim nudges the ship back and steadies it as the debris cascades across the surface of the wreck. The damage seems mostly superficial, but it underlines just how fragile the derelict is.
Let's not do that again.
Junie glances between the two of you. The data core will be very fragile. We've got it. Seraphim snaps. He angrily unclips from his seat. Last thing I need is a backseat driver. He kicks off and glides past her into the corridor. Sorry, Junie. No problem. She smiles a weak smile. We all want the same thing here, right? We'll work it out. You follow Seraphim down the passage with Junie close behind. As you reach the airlock, he's already angrily suiting up, his frustration evident. Keep your cool. Seraphim looks up. Yeah. He glances at Junie. No hard feelings, right? He checks the seal on his shoulders, but this is a job, not a social event. The rest of the preparation process takes place in the tense silence, each of you considering the delicate job ahead. You suit up too. Though you don't need a helmet to breathe, you slide one on and lock the seals for protection. This wreck isn't going to give up its salvage easily. The core should be near the bridge, maybe even inside it, but there's a lot of wreck here, and there might even be good salvage tucked away in the cargo hold. One of the suits are on, and the seals are checked. You cycle the lock and stare out at the vast expanse of the twisted hulk before you. Time to go to work. Finally. How about I get in here? the cycle. No, you should share my live stream. What the fuck is the crisis? What happened? A hull breach? Got a fucking... Bruh. Okay, buddy. Well, let's get this done. She did it? I'm fucking trying.
Oh, yikes. Yikes. Okay. Alright. I hope I don't fuck this up.
The bridge of the derelict lies silent, the pale beams of your suit lamps catching rows of terminals and clouds of glittering dust. Wires wave like seaweed, and the whole scene appears as if underwater, chaotic but still. Junie glides past you, disturbing the dust and taking you by surprise as she does. She has been a stoic presence so far, but in this moment she seems drawn forward by some force of curiosity. You watch as she bats away debris and begins checking terminals. Let her work. She's already prying an access panel off one of the more intact looking terminals, and as she does, puffs of rust color the vacuum around her red. As you shout for her to stop, Junie turns her head. Even behind the visor of her helmet, you can see it. Perhaps irritation. Sorry, she looks between you and the console. This is what we are here for, isn't it? She runs her fingers on... Scavenging? Of course. Okay then, she turns back to the terminal and finishes prying off the plate, then quickly she reaches inside, fishing around for something. Her hand comes back out with a waving cable topped with a thick connector. As soon as she sees it, she slips a keyboard-sized deck out from somewhere on her person. She runs her hand across the back until she finds the right port and slots in the connector. All of this happens in a few seconds. The routine, practice, and precise. It's not hard to be impressed. Nicely done. We'll see, she says so quietly, it seems like mostly to herself. Junie's fingers dance across the deck board, and a burst of static lights up the Solheim's terminal screen. The sudden burst of light and color takes you by surprise. Junie's fingers tap away, the terminal screen flashing with blocks of color and lines of code. It buzzes and vibrates along its dead systems, forced back into chaotic life. Then all at once it goes dark, the terminal is dead.
Shit!
Junie hisses beneath her breath. Useless. Cannot tell if the insult is directed at the terminal or herself. There are plenty more. She looks up at you, a confused expression on her face, and then scans around the bridge. I suppose, she pauses, but even from here, I can see most of them are less than scrap. The cradle with the data core can't be far. She pushes off from the terminal, gliding away from you. I'll start looking. She calls back and heads towards the other side of the bridge. All good. Good. Sharpen claps you on the shoulder. Seraphin stretches in his suit. I have to admit, it's nice to be back working, especially now that we are the ones who will reap the benefits. He claps you on the shoulder. Feels good to be taking our fate into our own hands. I know it's pretty rough there, back on Hexport, and out here we're just as likely to get shredded by debris and as find the damn data core, but aren't you glad we made a break for it? He pauses and looks down, having asked a question almost by accident. I mean, I am. I just don't want to speak for you. I'm glad to. Seraphin smiles. You better be. I didn't give up that little dark side cupboard I was living in for nothing. He laughs at his own joke. Look, Seraphin checks his suit, wrist seals. Once we've got a bit of space behind us, once we've gone the distance, if we even manage to get that far, he furrows his brow. Don't feel you owe me. I'm no charity case. You want us to go our separate ways? Fine by me, he meets your eyes. Just do me the favor of telling me to my face. That won't happen. Seraphim nods, but doesn't respond. After a moment, he shines his torch out into the dark, checking the rows of terminals all across the bridge. You watch the glittering dust as it eddies in the beam. Seraphim sighs. Let's get to it. You watch as he crosses the bridge, his torch probing the dark corners. You feel a chill run through your body as you imagine the people that once ran this ship, the Solheim crew, surely long dead. What was it like here before the collapse when the system was a jewel in Solheim's crown? It's impossible to know. That history is lost to you now. All you can do is pick what you can from the ruins. Anything I can do about the stress? Nothing? Nothing at all? Just need to get rid of this. But again, bro, what is this? I'm risking it. I'm risking it again. Figured. Give me good dice for Seraphim, please, so I can fix this. Bro, oh my god. Not good. Like, at all. Probably fucked up here. Well, all I can do is fucking risk this. There we go. Another fucking stress. Nothing else is gonna go wrong now. Oh, there goes Junie. should be fine. Okay. Should be good. I wanted to get more out of this, but it's okay. There we go. You watch nervously as Junie guides the core out of the cradle, a large ball almost half your height in diameter. It glides up out of the framework that held it, connections waving loose and cut. Her breathing comes through the suit's comms, loud enough to be picked up, and it fills you with tense energy as you watch. Over the course of this job, you have seen Junie both focused and distracted, nervous and precise, but you have not seen her any more confident than in this moment. She floats beside the data core, handling it with care and skill as if it was the vast egg of some endangered bird. She glances up and sees you watching her, and you notice something unfamiliar in her eyes, something that you have perhaps seen in a passing moment before, only now it is no momentary lapse or change. It is set in place. You see determination. She guides the core a little away from you, with one hand at the same time, comes forward, almost placing herself between you and her prize, and it does seem to be hers in the way she handles it, the possessive way she screens it with her body. We need to talk. The statement comes flat, deadpan, and any nervous tremble gone. Right now. What are you doing? Sleeper, she takes a deep breath. I want to be honest with you, but I need to know you won't take this from me. Junie glances around the cradle, defensively, but Seraphine is already heading back to the ship to prepare the cargo bay for the core storage. You two are alone. Tell me and we'll see. Fine, she folds her arm, but it's staying with me. Karsten doesn't deserve this treasure, Sleeper. Junie glances over her shoulder at the core. Do you know how many of these are left intact? She shakes her head. All he wants to do is wipe it clean so he can use it to interface with Hexport. All that data gone. So what do you want? I want to extract the data, to make use of it. You see some genuine emotion flicker in her eyes. She sighs after extracting the data. The core will be unusable. There's a security system that will fry it if data duplication is attempted. I can delay the security response long enough to copy the data, but after that, she trails off. You've done this before? She looks down. Yes, she meets your eye. This is why I came. Look at this place, Sleeper. She gestures to the cradle room, a dark and twisted cavern, a long dead tech. How many of these places are left? How many chances do we have to recover anything this old, this fragile? Like it or not, we live in Solheim's shadow, and their ruins, and yet we know almost nothing. What chance do we have of understanding how we got here and when others like them? Sensat and Conway are descending on the system. What can we learn from this core? I don't know, Sleeper. That is the point. She gestures around herself. We can learn our history and how the system was settled. We can better learn the technology and build our lives on. We could uncover Solheim's crimes and seek to make amends. She looks at you with pleading eyes. We could see beyond survival towards something else. You have never heard Junie speak like this, and you realize what you have taken for nervousness was actually control. This is the person in front of you defending a decaying data core with her life. This is the real Junie. But then you think of Lane, of the price he'd likely put on your head and Seraphine's heads, and of the felines without leaving Hexport. Almost be possible. Is this even a choice? Explain about the feedlines. Junie listens carefully as you tell her about the deal with Karsten, the feedlines he offered. Both you and Seraphine are on the run. Then I'll help you. Junie doesn't fit. We'll find another way to get those feedlines. Karsten is an idiot. I can hack his security and you can pull them out of there. Or Seraphine looks tough. Maybe you can grab them. She looks desperate. We can do it. We can do something. Let's do it. Thank you. Junie looks genuinely moved. This is a gift to all of us, Sleeper. I hope you will see it like that. Junie turns to the data core, quickly gathering one of its loose connections. She takes out her deck and plugs it in, and then crosses her legs and places it across him, floating tethered beside the core. Her fingers begin tapping at the keyboard, teasing out the core's data and whatever Solheim secret it might contain. As she does, Seraphin enters. He braces himself in there. What she's doing, Junie doesn't seem to notice it. Emptying the data. She's doing what? But you put a hand on his... He eyes you suspiciously. I hope you know what you're doing, Sleeper. He nods towards the core. That's our ticket out. Junie will help us. If you say so. You both turn to watch Junie stripping the core of its secrets. A little while later, once the core has been emptied out and its defense mechanism has scorched its seams black, you watch the metallic sphere spinning gently in the room and wonder if you have just made a terrible mistake. As you arrive into Hexport, Junie speaks up from the back of the cockpit. We are going to have to act fast if we want to take those feed lines. You and Seraphin exchange glances. You are both still getting used to this new Junie. We? Seraphin raises an eyebrow. Only one of us fried the core and stole all its data. He shoots you a look, and for some reason, we let you. It was the right call. Was it? Seraphin laughs. Well, I'm reassured. I don't think Carson is going to take kindly to the idea that we brought someone pretending to work for him on the job and let her have his prize. Shoots Junie a look. Do you even know what she's up to? Junie looks between the two of you. Hexport hasn't exactly been kind to me. You two trusted me, even though I didn't deserve it. I'm not used to that. I want to repay it. Not to mention that Carson is probably ripping you off. Even if you get enough cryo, what's to say he won't raise the price? Trust me, he's no good. I was trying to deal with Carson to get those derelict coordinates from the moment I arrived here, and he ran me in circles. She shakes her head. Seraphin is watching her closely. Even if I do take you at your word, which given everything seems a little tough, how do we even do this? You raise an eyebrow. You are telling me we just drift in there and take the feed lines? Look, I get it. You don't trust me. She pauses. But what if I have vested interest in this working out? There's nothing left for me here, and I don't much feel like hanging around waiting for Carson to figure out my involvement in all this. I need a safe passage. You need the feed lines to grant it. She allows herself a smile. See where I'm going with this? Seraphin sighs. I don't like it. He pauses. But it makes sense. What do you think, Sleeper? I like it. Alright then, Junie smiles. Let me prepare. I'll head to Factory Row, scope out the place, meet me there, and we can work out a plan. She glances between the two of you. Trust me, we can find a way. We'll keep it simple, clean. Let's get to it. Okay then, Junie smiles. Trust me, this is going to work. I'll go scope out the bay. We need it Factory Row. We should split up, less likely for Carson to suspect us. Meet me there in a few, and we can finish setting up. Junie unclips from her seat, floating. I want to show you I can be trusted, that we can do this. She looks between the two of you. Believe that, please. And with that, she slips away down the passage towards the airlock and Hexport beyond. Look at Seraphin. I'm saying nothing, Sleeper. He unclips from her seat too. Either this is the kind of mess you have to go through to get out of the other side, or it's the kind that you never escape. Either way, we are in it now. Leaves the cockpit. Stare at the chaotic lights of Hexport and wonder if anything in the steward belt ever runs smoothly. Damn, we spent a lot of time there. Alright, I'm just gonna end my cycle here. Alright, yep, now we need to hurry. No. I was about to say. Why does it go down to 4? It's because I don't have anything in it. Sound of fist on keyboard wakes you from the scrolling code on the terminal screen. You turn to see Junie, a rare half smile on her face as she floats cross-legged with her deck in her lap. The blue light of the snap-on screen makes her eyes glint with a glittering excitement. Got him. She suits you, Luke. Carson's whole system is mine. Push away from your terminal to glide over to her screen. Running the mapping control now. I want to know about every little dusty corner of his network. Nice work. Hold on, we aren't there yet. It's coming up now. Seems Carson is pretty paranoid. This whole system is iced over with some serious security as she frowns. What are all these layers of? A red pulse flashes across her face, changing her features as it does. Shit, shit, shit. Her fingers dance across the keyboard. Something is closing the port. We need another red flash and her screen goes blank. Junie's fist hits the keyboard again hard. We've been kicked out. She's rapidly shaking her head. There's no way a salvager shop should have that kind of countermeasure. She looks troubled. Maybe you peeked in the wrong corner? She looks over it. It seems so. I think our friend Carson is involved in some nasty stuff. She rubs her forehead and thought, wait. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, her screen flickering with commands. A complex node graph assembles on the screen, a mess of interlocking connections. The mapping protocol did enough. She points at the screen. All the security systems are there. She indicated a dark section of broken connection. We didn't get what's here, but it seems like we found some kind of archive, nothing we want. Wonder what's there. Junie shrugs. Some big data trawls. It looks like copies of old drives he found. Could just be a load of data left over from salvage jobs that he thinks is worth something. Smiles. He's a meathead with no eye for data, so it's probably a load of debug logs he thinks are Solheim secrets. Googles at the idea. You watch the code spilling across the screen and notice the addresses from the node map being marked and logged. As you watch, you see that the cat identifies weaknesses, marks nodes with multiple connections and fragile structures. It is making a plan of attack. Junie's going to blast Carson's network apart with raw data. Junie sees the look of recognition in your eyes, and I thought I could show you something new. She looks impressed. I call it Catsin Jammer, CAT for short. Give the map of a network and an entry port, and it'll flood the system with raw data and network noise. Any tech connected to it gets a killer headache. I built it to take remnants of Solheim security systems out of commission on old derelicts. She squints. I had one too many close calls. Sounds perfect. She nods. I agree. She plucks a thumbnail drive out of her deck and hands it over. The cat head sticker on it, catching the light as you turn it in your fingers. We've still lost access, of course. Junie turns back to her screen, bringing up another node map. There's an old Solheim port from the original facility just outside Carson. Slot the cat in there and should be able to find a back door. What are we waiting for? Nothing, but she looks away. This isn't going to be quiet, she squints. His whole system is going to get data blasted. It's not a subtle hack. When you slot the cat, you get in, grab the feed lines, and run. Sounds like one hell of a risk. The surfing voice catches you both by surprise as he slips into the dark and empty unit. Well, Junie pauses, looking between the two of you. It's our best option. Surfin narrows his eyes. And where will you be while we run the gauntlet of scrambled security and make the grab? Junie looks. I can monitor how it goes down remotely from here or the ship. Surfing gives you a look. You can tell he's finding it hard to trust Junie after everything. I trust you, Junie. She smiles a thin smile. Thanks. She starts to pack up her deck, but I'll find somewhere else to work from, close to the ship, but out of your way. Junie shoulders her bag and glides to the door. When you are ready, slot the cat and go. By the time you are back at the ship, I'll be there. Sven said, "Don't leave without me." She shoots Seraphin another look, then slips out of the unit. Seraphin watches her go, and then turns you. The whole of Hexbar is going to hear about this. He shakes it. "We better be ready to go the moment you slot that thing." "I'll be ready." Seraphin nods silently. "I'll be at the ship preparing the engine. We need to be ready to fit the lines as fast as we possibly can." He meets your eye. "Be careful. Don't stop for anyone or anything." He puts a hand on your shoulder, "And don't even think about looking back." With that, he slips out of the unit, leaving you alone to consider your next option. End the cycle one more time. Let's go! Carts and places locked up for the cycle. Shutter down, alarms on. The denizens of the factory row sneaking past with deliveries and work orders. You hold your position opposite the shot and take a deep breath, waiting for a sign that this is going to work. You look at the thumbnail drive with its shimmering cat sticker sticking out of the old Solheim export. You imagine the flow of data as Katzen Jammer seeks for an entry point for Carson's system. Think of Junie tucked away near the ship, watching you through the public networks. You think of Seraphin deep in the entry room of the rig. Hurry the hell up, you think. Enough waiting. Then you hear it, pulsating white noise, spluttering and then screaming out of Carson's shop. The shutter scissors up and down, the lights pulse. The shutter scissors up and down. The lights pulse, the alarm gurgles in confusion. For a moment, you're stunned into stillness. People stop in the street, then turn to look at as the shutter's motors burn out in a cascade of sparks and acrid smoke. Now or never. You skirt around the people watching, using them as a perimeter. They are pointing and talking, some of them laughing while others look concerned. You slip around to the edge of the entryway, and then as the other cascade of sparks sends the observers cowering for cover, you slip inside. It takes you a moment to gather yourself in the chaos of the shelf. The wall-mounted screens scream out white noise, and the flickering lights make it hard to concentrate, but you keep your focus. You scramble over to the feed lines in the window, grabbing the bundle with both arms. They wave wildly in your grasp as you wrench them away and kick off from the counter, gliding back out into the passage. Your arcing glide takes you into the crowd. You steer yourself through the gap in the gathering bodies and kick off hard towards the port. The feed lines wave wildly, but you grip them hard to your chest and don't look back. Seraphin better be ready. I've been yapping. Hour 38. Hey, it's good coffee. Here. Oh, hold on. Your arms ache from clutching the feed lines, but you don't loosen your grip until you see the entrance to the docking bridge. Sleeper, you almost ignore the call until you realize you recognize the voice. Junie glides out to meet you, her hand on your shoulder, guiding you towards the bridge. "I'm with you now." She shoots you a glance. "What a show, huh?" She laughs nervously. "It was certainly loud." She smiles a little. "Wish I could have seen the cat in action." You both glide down the docking bridge, Junie helping you with the trailing feed lines. From what you can tell, news of the chaos in the factory row has not reached the port yet. You feel a flush of excitement as you enter the ship's airlock. This is it. You did it. You try to keep focused, but the elation makes your hands tremble. You take a sharp turn in the central passage of the ship and make your way to the entry room. The feed line's now unwieldy in the cramped space. Seraphin is waiting for you, shaking his head. "Looks like we're in business." He lets out a sigh. "And on the run from 2 different people now." Grabs the feed lines. "I'll take it from here." Oh, wish I had a drink. He quickly begins the process of connecting the engine to the subsidiary fuel tank. You watch, catching your breath as he works. "How about you make yourself useful rather than just making me nervous?" Seraphin says, without looking up from his work. Go close the airlock and disconnect the bridge." You and Junie glance at each other. "Both of you now," Seraphin calls out. 2 of you turn and make your way up the passage. Your nerves settle in. You arrive at the airlock and reach for the control panel. Then you see him. Hartston coming up the docking bridge fast. Her shaking hands input the closure sequence just in time. The door hisses and slams shut in Carson's face. He glares at you through the airlocked windows, but as he does, the docking bridge shutters. Scissors close, blocking him from view. You hear a clunk as the clamps disengage. You are free. Seraphin rushes past, gliding up the passageway from the engine room. Come on, get yourself strapped in. You and Julie silently follow him, your head spinning, your thoughts racing. You slip into your seat as Seraphin punches in the departure sequence. The rig begins to pull away from Hexport. Seraphin's hands on the controls. You close your eyes and feel the force of the thrusters firing. We did it! Hexport export. What the? Seraphin's quiet question interrupts your thoughts as the rig cuts across the belt. Export is now behind you. Drifting out of the visual range is glinting lights, now just part of the background glow of the belt's thousands of reflective bodies. Whatever trouble you stirred up there, it surely has been left behind. Which is why Seraphin's muttering is worrying you. More trouble? There's a transmission coming out of Hexport, some kind of evac order. He turns back to his console. Let me check this. Sleeper, the voice distorted as it cuts through you. Lane, I know you are there. A hissing pause. Is that coming from Hexport? Seraphin glances at you, confused. Is what coming from Hexport? Give me a second here, Sleeper. I'm getting a wide channel broadcast. He rubs his shoulders nervously. Are they warning people to alter their course away from the station? You're slipping away. A squawk of noise, but we can't have that. Take this personally, Sleeper. A sharp intake of breath. After all my investment, all my care expended upon you, this is how you repay me? At least we're heading away. Seraphin interrupts. Maybe it's just a precaution. I see a little something glinting out there. Lane continues. Could that be you? Sleeper, you hear Seraphin calling, but you don't move. You don't breathe. All you hear is Lane's voice. You unclip from your restraint, drifting forward towards Seraphin. He gives you a wild look. Something isn't right. You don't feel right. Numbness grows in your body, your fingers flexing without your input. You reach outwards towards Seraphin. No, not you. Something reaches out to Seraphin through you. Attention flickers in his eyes. Fear, a hissing silence, then a rumbling blast. All at once, the rig screams, system seizing in electromagnetic paralysis. All at once, the rig shifts, carried on some shockwave of light. The pain, then darkness. Love this game. I'm tired from all this yapping. Voices echo warmingly through your mind. Can't quite make out what it is being said, and any attempt to focus causes a growing flare of pain, so you let them fill the air, unidentifiable and soft. You're floating, and so you cannot yet feel your body or its weight. The feeling is pleasant, soothing, and yet the moment you realize this, it begins to fade. Something spasms in your fingers. You flick it away. A sensation crosses the sole of your foot, and you kick your leg. A weight settles itself in your chest. You're awake. You open your eyes to light playing across a surface pattern. With stained cushioning, you're alone. The voice is replaced by the hum of air cycling, a distant clank of maintenance systems. You're alone. This is not your ship. You jerk upwards against the straps that hold you loosely to the berth. Suddenly confronted with the last things you remember, an overwhelming numbness, and below it, an insipid, animating voice creeping through your mind. You pull at the straps and free yourself, floating up into the small habitation room, cushioned and worn, your mind racing. Where is this? You glance around, taking in the small room with its knickknacks tucked behind webbing, its stained and worn storage units, its faded padding. This is someone's home. Cold light fills the room, and you float over to the dark square of the window. You see stars, the bright pinpricks of drive trails and skeletal docking bridges. This is a station. A sudden hiss draws your attention to the door, which slides open with a puff of equalizing pressure. The entering figure jumps as they see you are awake. You're up. They hesitate in the doorway. Where's Seraphin? Your friend, right? They laugh at him. I'm not really sure. He headed out a while ago. I'm Bliss. They shrug, not sure what to add. Your crew are out. Sorry, they brought you here. Here? Right. They nod slowly. This is my room. They glance around. Not much, I know. We're in my bay repair on the far spindle, if you know where that is. In the belt? Yeah, they smile sympathetically. In the belt. They look around at the room again. Come on, let's go somewhere a little more comfortable. They hold out a hand. You're safe, don't worry. Follow them out into the corridor, gliding behind them. They move with the ease of someone who was either born in 0G or spent most of their life in it. In an enclosed balcony where heavily scratched thick acrylic windows look out onto a chaotic looking wet dock. At the center of the dock is the rig, scratched and warm, but still your ship. It's a reassuring sight. Is she okay? She will be when I'm done with her. Bliss sees you staring at the rig. Took some damage, but she's a hardy old thing. Your ship, Bliss pauses. You were lucky I heard your distress signal. She sensed they are holding back something. I guess that expensive long-range array I was tricked into buying finally paid off. They laughed to themselves. Well, at least for someone. We were out cold when I got there, and have been for all the cycles since. Your friend wasn't in great shape either, but he bounced back fast. I make a habit of doing that. Seraphine's voice makes you spin around. Good to see you up. He can't suppress his smile. Glad to be back. He nods. Your eyes fall to Seraphine's bandaged abdomen. He notices and pulls his jacket over the wound. Ugh, fucking hair in my mouth. Certainly looks better than when you came in. Should have seen. Bliss abruptly stops after. Seraphine glares in your direction. Here. Seraphine pulls a few chits out of his pocket. Catch. He slings them over to Bliss. That's all I could get for now. Working in your condition? Seraphine sighs. Please. I'm fine. Bliss looks at you apologetically. I know what it looks like, but I'm sorry. I can't work for free. Keeping this place going is bad enough. I get it. Seraphine nods. We're just thankful you towed us in. We aren't freeloaders. Bliss looks between the two of you. I'll let you two catch up. They turn to you. Glad you're awake. We were worried. Pat you on the shoulder and glide back down to the corridor. Bliss gone, silence descends on you and Seraphine, both of you unsure what to say. Where's Junie? She's probably on the ship, working on that deck of hers. Seraphine looks out at the ship. She's been useful. Not sure we would have gotten the distress signal without her. What do you remember? Lane. Seraphine grimaces as he mentions at the mention of his name. Lane? He shakes his head. Seraphine looks out at the rig. He takes a breath, steeling himself for what he has to say. Hexport is, clears though, it's gone. What do you mean, gone? It's gone. Dropped off the map. No signals, apart from the ones sent from fleeing ships. He frowns. I don't know what happened. No one does. Your mind skips, unable to focus on the information you have just been told. Think of the constant activity of the bends, the rumble of the factory row. Karsten, gone. By the time Bliss reached us, we had drifted out of the range. They couldn't have seen it go up, but I saw a sleeper. Something exploded, white hot. He rubs his arms, suppressing a shiver. A moment later, the shockwave was on us. The rig was crippled. The engine kept firing, but guidance went off, sending us arcing out across the belt. He drops a hand inside his jacket, pressing against the bandage on his side. I managed to get her under control, but not before we started spinning. Our restraints came loose and you weren't even strapped in, so we both got scrambled. He smiles a weak smile. Felt like we'd been trapped in an auto wash. Turns back to you. I'm impressed you made it, to be honest. A flesh and blood human would have been smashed to pieces. He goes silent, the image a little too raw for him to do it. Could it be to do with us? Seraphine shrugs. Your guess is as good as mine. He squints. Would Lane do something like that? Doesn't make any sense. Utsubo is a gang. They run dark side. They don't go around blowing up stations. All anyone is seeing is debris and radiation. I picked up a lot of ship transponders before the rig went offline. Maybe some people got out. He stops, unable to add anything more. Both float in silence for a moment. So we lost our tail? Seems like it. He looks away. At least that shockwave would have burned our trail out of the belt for now. We already owe Bliss for the work they did on the rig, and it isn't finished yet. A few more cycles, I've been told. Bliss won't hold us hostage, but I don't like to skip out without paying, even if we could get the rig started up. He rubs his necklace between his fingers. Bad karma. Beyond that, we need work. Fuel, supplies, and we need to make sure you are okay. He counts off the issues on his fingers. After that, he shrugs. Haven't heard of anyone coming after us, and if they did, they'd have to come through Hexport or what's left of it. He looks away. The far spindle is way out of the lane's territory. Anyway, we call this bit of the belt the Wash. The stations here run different than the dark side, so for now, we have some freedom. Seraphine's eyes. Freedom to go broke, starve, and get into even more trouble, that is. In all honesty, I was hoping you might have some ideas. He pats you on the shoulder. I want to explore this place. The far spindle? There's plenty to see here. This is a free station. No one faction holds control, so it's quite the circus. Just watch your step out there. Seraphim pauses and stares down. Look, Sleeper, he rubs his side. I'm not sure I can work right now. I just got kicked out of a salvage yard for passing out on the job. It looks like, even with the pain meds I've been able to scare up. I can fly, that's for sure. He stares absently at the rig. But you're going to need some crew if you want to do any serious work. He chews his lip. I'm sorry. You need to be careful. Seraphim nods. I'm trying. He turns away. I'm going to take a rest on the rig. I'm wiped. Looked at the rig as he leaves. The warmth and softness of your waking moments now feeling like a distant memory. Is this what you wanted? Freedom? Chance to work for yourself, not Lane? Well, here it is, with all the problems and complications you could imagine. And at what cost? Could Lane have wiped out the Hexport just to try to end you? You shiver at the thought. But if not Lane, then who? Theories cloud your mind. Dwell on them. Could it have been Conway? A drone or mind drifting starboard? Senate stat, perhaps? Some plan to weaken the belt? Or a belt faction attempting to flip the board by intent or mistake? The belt had considered itself safe from the war brewing in the inner system, but now Hexport's loss will be felt across the starboard belt. What does that mean to you? Your needs are much more immediate, apparent. Those must come first. Take a breath. Time to make a plan. Gain some glitch. Glitch is a penalty you gain from repairing dice and from Lane's attempts to hack your system. Your current level of glitch is represented by the glitch lock to the maximum. You can have the right of your dice. You can have a maximum of 6. Each level of glitch you gain will increase your chance of rolling a glitch dice at the start of the cycle. Each time you roll a glitch dice, you clear one level of glitch. Glitch dice has an 80% chance of a negative outcome when used and a 20% chance of a positive outcome. Okay. God damn it, Junie, why'd you have to pull up? I don't want to keep talking. Find Junie in the airlock, her small collection of things crammed into her bag. I was coming to see you, I promise. She looks nervous. I was waiting for you to wake up, but Servant said you were okay. So. You're going? She looks away. I am. While you were out, she pauses. The concern for you... She pauses. I was digging into the data I pulled from that core, the Solheim one. There's a lot of stuff in here, but it's impossible to read. Either I'm decrypting it wrong or I don't have the right cipher. Whatever it is, I think it means the data is important. She thinks about it. Or at least it was the Solheim. I need to find someone to help me pick away at it, to crack it open. She's looking at it. That's why I'm going. We can take you there. No, look. She takes a sharp breath. After what happened with the rig, Bliss saving us, we're all lucky to be alive. She shifts her bag on her shoulder. I think I'm better off alone for now. Oh. Sonny reaches into her bag, producing a handful of chits. Some of the data I sold, just so I could buy myself a ticket to where I need to go. It's not much, but here's your share. She passes you the chits. Thank you. She smiles. You deserve more, she catches herself. I'm sorry. Good luck, Sleeper, and tell Seraph goodbye for me. What are you chasing? She freezes, caught off guard by your question. She pauses. I know there's value, true value in that data, Sleeper. I know it, and she pauses again, unsure of herself. I have a project to continue, one I can't, I won't abandon. Maybe I can tell you about it another time. She smiles weakly, closing up again. Well, she rubs the back of her neck. See you around. Watch her drift away down the docking tunnel and into the far spindle with questions still bouncing around your head. Maybe if your paths cross again, you might be able to get some of them answered.